Appreciate your getting up and being up and at 'em early on this Baker's Dozen Monday. Baker's Dozen being 13, which is the number of wins that the Philadelphia Eagles have right now. It is Birds 365 here on the JAKIB Media YouTube channel. I'm Jody McDonald. And as you can probably tell, that's not John McMullen.
Not today.
That would be one Barrett Brooks filling in for Johnny Mac, who's winging his way back from Chicago. Always good to get Big B on with us.
The other bald guy.
A fun day yesterday, Barrett. Not a perfect day from an Eagle perspective, but a fun day just the same, because anytime you walk away with a road win and get to 13, count them now, 13 wins in a season with 3 left to play, can't be a bad day, right?
Can't be a bad day. Can't be. I mean, to watch the game, I didn't feel at any point that the Eagles weren't going to lose the game, even though they were playing bad for probably the better part of 3 quarters. I didn't feel as they were going to lose the game, because I just thought our roster was just supremely talented to what the Bears had. But I do know that there were some distractions in the game that kind of got them a little iffy as far as them executing the complete game plan, but I did feel as though they were going to win the game. No question about that.
Okay, you used the word distractions. What do you think those distractions were?
Well, Jalen Hurts never talks about distraction, but he admitted in his post-game interview that weather was definitely a factor. Being cold was definitely something that he was not used to, not that type of cold. And please, people, I understand, as people that go out and we may do yard work or whatever in cold weather, but it's a different type of cold in certain parts of the country. Like being in Green Bay. I played 1 year in Green Bay. It's a different type of cold in Green Bay, and it's definitely a different type of cold in that Chicago area. That wind coming off Lake, I think, what is it, Lake Erie, is unbelievable. Lake Michigan. Okay, Lake Michigan. Yeah, Erie's over there by Cleveland. Lake Michigan. It's a different type of cold, man. I'm telling you, it's bone. You don't just feel it on your skin. You feel it on your bones, man. That's how cold it is out there. They should outlaw games in Green Bay and in Chicago in December at night. I mean, they shouldn't even allow them to play them. They should be against the law. That's how cold it is out there.
Yesterday was high noon in Chicago time, an hour ahead of us.
Yeah.
So you got to be able to suck it up and play. If Jalen wasn't prepped to play in that cold yesterday, I can't lay all of it off on Mother Nature. Some of it has to be the Eagles and Jalen Hurts as well. You have to be prepped to be able to do that. Barrett, now I'm not a weatherman. I don't even like to play a weatherman here on YouTube or on the radio or anywhere else. But I feel pretty confident about this weather prediction for you. It's going to get colder from here on out. We're still heading into the winter. So if Jalen wasn't quite ready to play in that bone-chilling cold that you're talking about, well, then maybe the Eagles need to get some more practice in outdoors, because it's going to be colder the rest of this month and colder the entire month of January, because, oh, by the way, it's not official yet, but they are all but a lock to play every single game in January at Lincoln Financial Field. They just have to win one of their last 3 games, which we know they're going to do. Yeah, he's got to get used to it. That's on him. That's on the Eagles for him to be prepped and ready to go in a bone-chilling cold for the most important games of the year, aka the playoffs.
Yeah, and rest assured, I think he will be ready. He's going to prep. He understands that he has to play through different weather conditions. We all know that. I mean, it's going to be hot when we go to the Super Bowl down in Arizona. So we'll be down in Arizona. He'll get used to that weather. One thing about Jalen, he's going to make sure that he's taking care of the intangibles of playing in a game. Now, I caught him by surprise this time. I mean, he probably knew. He played in a pretty cold game year before last in Green Bay. The year he came in, he starting the week after that. Remember that Green Bay game? It was cold then. I guess he didn't realize, because he went in and got his first real reps at the quarterback position before dethroning Carson Wentz. So he'll be ready. He'll be more prepared this time as opposed to next time. So at least you won't be caught off guard like he was caught off guard this game. He mentioned that his hands were frozen when he was out there, and he really didn't get a feel for it until he got into the game. I mean, that happens. You're not going to know everything. You're not going to be able to just shrug off every adversity you have while you're out there, just from playing experience. That's a different type of coach. I'm always a lineman, so when we were out there, we always had our sleeves off. But I tell you, especially towards the end of my career when I was riding the bench, please believe, our hero stuff was out the door. I wanted to go out there and put me about 3 or 4 sleeves on when I was playing, man, just to let you know. But it's different, man. But they won the game. I can't complain. I can't cry about it. I can't bitch about it. They won the game.
And, oh, by the way, talking about dealing with things and overcoming them, he got off to a slow start. Threw a couple of picks in the first half. 2 picks when he'd only thrown 3 the entire season prior to yesterday. He did just fine in the second half. Some of those passes down the sideline to Devonta Smith, 2 of them to A.J. Brown, were things of beauty. Perfect touch, right in the basket, on the receiver's hands, dead in stride. That's pretty good for a guy who doesn't know how to play in the cold.
That's
still making those massive plays. So, yes, while we can nitpick about, he might not have been ready at the start of the game. He's got to know it's cold, got to be able to get your proper warm-up in and be willing and ready to adjust to it. Yeah, he did. Took a little bit longer than maybe the Eagles would have liked. But the most important thing is he did adjust. It wasn't that, oh, my God, it's cold. I can't feel my hands. He has a lousy day throughout the entire day. That was not the case. He kind of caught fire in the second half and helped the Eagles put the game away.
Absolutely, absolutely. And when he caught fire, he really caught fire, man. Some of those dimes you spoke about. I just really I didn't understand the game plan going into this game early. And I can't complain about what Steichen has done. I mean, they're leading all categories as far as, points per game. Well, they were before yesterday. Points per game, yardage and all that stuff. They were top 10 and all that stuff. But I was cramming to understand why we would basically throw the ball so much when we could run the ball. Everybody else has run the ball on that defense. And, I didn't quite understand that. For Jalen Hurts to run 17 times is almost it's almost suicide in all actuality. You don't want to get him to get hit that much, especially in that type of cold, man. To me, 17 times was way too much for the quarterback to be out there running the ball. And I know it's situational football where they called RPOs, run pass options. And he chose what the defense gave him was for him to pull it. They crashed the D in for the most part, making Jalen Hurts run with the ball. And that's a game plan thing that Chicago went into the game they wanted to do. They wanted Jalen to have the ball, so they crashed the end. But they also had linebackers stay in place. They had him not necessarily spy him, but they read him, which when he did run, as soon as he started towards the line of scrimmage, them linebackers was coming downhill, boom. And he got butted up a couple times by linebackers hit right in the face. And I don't know if you could do that for the remainder of the season and think that you're going to have a healthy Jalen Hurts going into playoffs.
While I agree with you, at times the play calling befuddled me yesterday, specifically in the first half. But I'm not going to drop it at Steichen's door on the run pass options because, as you said, that's Jalen's call. And Jalen decided to keep the football more often than he usually does and turn it upfield and try and make a play. So that's on the quarterback. That's not on the play caller. But I call if you're calling the plays and you're seeing that the Bears are defending the run pass option the way that they are, then don't call a run pass option. Then just call a straight handoff to Miles Sanders and let him get some work in. At some point, you need to ease off that because and Jalen, to his credit, is just reading the defense at that point. He's not thinking, oh, shoot, I've already run it 5 times. I don't want to run it a 6. No, he's just judging where the defenders are. What's the best play in this split second? I'd have to make a decision, and his decision was keep the ball alive. Take the option out of his hands if you're Shane Steichen. Don't run as many RPOs as you are calling up until that point. Now, again, in the second half, it got better. He made the couple of huge plays downfield to his wide receivers, and the Eagles won the game 25-20. But I was with you. little surprised at the play calling in the first half. The Miles Sanders, after coming off his best day ever as a Philadelphia Eagle, got 3 carries in the first half. That's it. 3 touches in the first half. He ends up fumbling his first fumble of the year. I'll tell you, that was at least caused in part by the fact that he wasn't into the flow of the game. They just didn't use him enough throughout the game, and that, I think, contributed to the fumble that he had. So, yes, the Eagles are 13-1. Yes, the Eagles know it's ahead of them. They beat the Dallas Cowboys next week, and it's all over. But for the shouting, they have home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Yeah, we can nitpick a little bit on the play calling, can't we?
Oh, we can do that. I mean, that's. I mean, we have to find something as radio hosts, as host of shows. We got to find something to cry about. They won the game, and this is what we call building. This is a building process. This is a learning process. They're gaining experience of going out there and playing in tight games and winning, unlike what Dallas did. And it took me what time is it? It took me all the way until 12 minutes into the show that I said something about Dallas, them losing. Oh, it was a great yesterday. I don't know what I like better, the Eagles winning in the fashion that they won, or the Dallas loss in a close game. They should have lost last week. There's a kick in their armor, and they know that. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if their head coach was fired and Sean Payton is at the practice facility right now. You know what I mean? I mean, that's crazy. They lost. They almost lost last week and then lost this week. This is a learning curve for us. We had a very hard game, hard-fought game, and we still won the game. They lost it.
And, oh, by the way, since you brought up Dallas, I checked again this morning. ESPN's power rating, the football power index that is generated by their computers, not by their hosts, not by their guys that they put on TV to talk educatedly about football, by their analytics department and their computer rankings, their power index. The Dallas Cowboys are still first, and the Philadelphia Eagles are still fourth. Now, I consider this from an ESPN point, and yes, I work for ESPN on a couple of different occasions. Been a couple of years, but I have worked for them several different times. It's embarrassing. They continue to put this out week after week, and their computer numbers spit out the fact that the Dallas Cowboys have the highest ranking power index, and the Philadelphia Eagles are no better than fourth. Why do you do this, ESPN? It's just stone cold embarrassing. You're making yourself look bad. Anybody who goes to this goes, wait, what?
No credibility.
How the hell do you have the Eagles fourth and the Cowboys first after yesterday's action, after the entire 14 games to this point? But even after yesterday, it wasn't enough to drop the Cowboys from number 1 and or elevate the Eagles from number 4.
Come on, man. It's simply ridiculous. Simply ridiculous. So I'm not even going to ask what Jalen Hurts' MVP odds are right now, because it's just only going to piss me off a little more.
Most of the betting outlets still have him as the favorite. He is
okay
to win the MVP. And again, you take your information and your rankings, your ratings from wherever you take them. But I checked a couple of wagering outlets. He is still the favorite. It usually doesn't move significantly till Tuesday, and some sites even take them down leading into the weekend. Don't put them back up again till after the Monday night game is over. But the places that you can bet right now, if you wanted to, still have Jalen Hurts as the favorite.
Yep, well, it should be. I mean, even Kansas City struggled, but the 2 picks, I thought that might have thrown him out of contention. And at this point, I really don't care. I'll get pissed off because it's the lack of respect this team has through nationwide media. I mean, that's what really making me mad, because right now we're 13-1, and they're not respecting Jalen number 1, but this Eagles team number 2, as far as being the most complete, balanced, and dangerous team in the NFL. I mean, you look at the players. The players will say different. I know Micah Parsons said what he said. He said what he said because you talk about the guy on top of the hill. You talk about the king on top of the hill. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like an inferiority complex where you're like, all right, well, I'm going to talk about them just because I know I'm not better than they are. But, you know, let me give them a little jab right now. They're so worried about us that they weren't even worried about Jacksonville. And hence, you know, Dougie P sends us a little Christmas gift. Thank you, Doug. We appreciate you.
Two things. I would say the Eagles are not being disrespected nationally. One place, ESPN's computer rankings. ESPN puts out a power ranking as well, where they get 30, 40, 50 of their quote-unquote football guys, analysts, studio hosts, everything else to vote. And they're smart enough to put the Eagles as the number one seed. Right. And most of the other national outlets have the Eagles as the number one power ranked team. So it's only one place where they're being disrespected, and that's by ESPN's computer. If I were ESPN, I'd pull the plug on the damn thing. But that's
my shop too, though, Jody. My shop too. You know, NBC, Chris Sims. You know,
well, that's true. You know, Sims is an idiot. Well, yeah. But he hasn't disrespected the Eagles. He just disrespected Jalen Hurts.
Right.
He readily admits that the Eagles are the best team in the National Football League. So there's disrespect for one individual player, and there's disrespect for the Eagles. And a lot was made last week of the Micah Parsons interview, and I thought it would the outrage and the disrespect was overstated. I thought he was more praising the Eagles as a team than denigrating Jalen Hurts. But however you viewed it, Micah, you go on what became a very well talked about podcast with Von Miller. You get a viral video out there by what you say. Then you got to follow that up with a big performance. If you're going to be drawing attention to yourself by saying something that's pretty controversial, then you got to go out and play like the defensive player of the year. 2 tackles yesterday for Micah Parsons. 2 for the entire game. Come on, big guy. You're going to run your mouth a little bit. You got to back it up. Hey, he did not do that yesterday in the Cowboy loss.
They said the same thing, make you laugh, make you cry.
He did just that. He's Barrett Brooks in for John McMullen today. We've got 2 good guests coming your way. Regular contributors to the show. Appreciate them both. First up, we're going to get Paul Domwich, the 33rd team, and does his stat package for us on JAKIBSports.com leading into the Eagles game every single week. He joins us usually after the Eagles games to talk about wins because they've done that 13 times. So Dom is going to join us coming up in just a couple of minutes. And then in hour number 2, BLG, the big man, Brendan Lee Gouton from Bleeding Green Nation, is going to hop aboard. Appreciate you streaming in early with us here. The 13-1 Philadelphia Eagles, the topic of conversation. He's Barrett Brooks. I'm Jody McDonald. You're on Birds 3.